Now, the uMkhonto weSizwe party and its leader, Jacob Zuma, will proceed to challenge the legalities of the Madlanga Commission in court on Thursday. The party is expected to put forward arguments of legality, establishment and composition of the commission. The MK party accuses President Cyril Ramaphosa of attempting to preempt and undermine the judiciary, questioning the legitimacy of Judge Madlanga's role in leading the inquiry. They argue that it's irrational for a sitting judge to investigate allegations involving fellow members of the judiciary and have called for the commission's immediate suspension pending a court ruling on its legality. Lawson Naidoo is the executive director of the Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution. CASAC joins us now to share some insights to this. Lawson, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. But before we do, let's have a listen at this clip, which gives remarks from the spokesperson of the MK party.
The Constitutional Court, where on the basis of jurisdiction, it was said by the Constitutional Court judges that this matter should then be sent to the High Court, which is where we're at right now. We did state categorically that we're going to follow up on this matter. We then sent questions to the President, raising a number of issues as per his announcement. One of those being, when you're appointing this minister, is it a minister designate, or an acting minister? Over and above the fact that we stated that the judiciary, off the back of the announcement by General uMkhonto, was complicit and implicated. So how is it possible that you then set up a commission of inquiry, a judicial one in that case, when you know very well that the judicial commission of inquiry and the judiciary itself is in effect, complicit or implicated? Now, we're saying that this should be, by the court's rule to be invalid, unconstitutional, because there is no need for you to then bring a judicial commission of inquiry where a judge is going to have to preside over matters that implicate your peers.
Well, Lawson joins us now. Lawson, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. What are the prospects of success of the case brought by the MK party?
Good evening. Thank you very much for this. I don't think that there is much scope for success in this application by the MK party. As we know, the matter is to the Constitutional Court on the basis of direct access and execution. It was rejected by the Constitutional Court in that regard, which sent it back to the High Court. It's quite clear that, the allegations that were made by Lieutenant General uMkhonto are wide-ranging, very concerning, and need to be properly investigated. And the President has decided that the most appropriate mechanism to do this is through a judicial commission of inquiry, to be chaired by a highly respected, one must say, now retired Justice of the Constitutional Court in the person of Justice Madlanga. And the allegation from the MK party that the mere fact that Justice Madlanga is a member of the judiciary, that would preclude him from presiding over this inquiry makes no sense, because there have been no specific allegations against specific members of the judiciary from General uMkhonto as yet. If there are such allegations, and they do need to be further tested and probed, then the Judicial Service Commission is the appropriate forum for such an investigation to take place.
Yeah, it must also be noted that at the time it was Justice Madlanga, it's now retired Justice Madlanga, who's no longer an active member of judiciary, effectively a retired judge presiding over this. But the question of rationality is a very commonplace, seemingly now commonplace legal test in South Africa. Rationality, I understand to mean that the action has no link to the outcome, that the outcome and the action don't speak to each other. Is there some reasonable and rational link between the action of setting up a commission of inquiry versus the intended outcomes in dealing with what has now been a controversy of the criminal justice system?
Correct, and you're absolutely correct in that assessment of rationality. The purpose of a commission of inquiry is it's a fact-finding exercise. It's a mechanism that the President may use to get to the bottom of a matter of great public interest, as we saw previously with the State Capture Commission, the Marikana Commission of Inquiry, and so on, was to unearth the true facts of what happened on an occasion or a series of events. And similarly, this is a mechanism designed to unpack the allegations that were made by Lieutenant General uMkhonto about the evidence that probably be forthcoming from various other members of the law enforcement bodies, whistleblowers, and others, including the now suspended or minister that's been placed on extended leave, Minister uMkhonto, as well as other members of the executive and of parliament who may have information that can assist Justice Madlanga in unearthing the kinds of problems that exist within the SAPs, within the Hawks, and within other law enforcement agencies, including the Political Killings Task Team.
Now, very importantly here is that the MK party seems to be seeking an interdict. What are the conditions that would need to be met for the court to entertain an interdict argument?
Well, they would have to prove that, as you say, that the president's decision was irrational, that it was inappropriate for him to institute a judicial commission into these allegations. And the question has to be then asked, well, what other mechanisms were at the disposal of the president in seeking to deal with these very serious allegations that have been made? The law enforcement agencies themselves
just very quickly,
are implicated in what has been said.
Yeah, the MK party seems to be under the impression that the president has enough facts before him to be able to make decisions and does not need any additional facts. That determination seems to be a thumbsuck at best. But even if they are correct about that, does that take away from the president the power to institute a fact-finding mission like a judicial commission of inquiry?
Not at all, because the allegations that have been made by Lieutenant General uMkhonto are untested at this point in time. Those are the information that he has now, through that media briefing in July, placed in the public domain. But they remain untested. We don't know what evidence, hard evidence, he has that lies behind what he has said. That's the information that he now needs to bring before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry so that appropriate further steps can be taken if indeed such evidence exists. And as you've mentioned, the Justice Madlanga would have the ability to order further investigations and even prosecutions of those who are implicated and against whom there is sufficient evidence.
To the logic of the MK party, should this rather not then just go straight to a courtroom and have it be tested there and have the outcome there be the determinant of the decision and not leave it up to the president? And I'm extending here, I'm not saying they're making this argument, but not leaving it up to the president to use to his discretion whether or not he would implement any of the recommendations coming out of the report, given that a Commission of Inquiry report is not binding in the way that the outcomes of a court of law would be.
Indeed, they're not binding, and we know that very well from previous commissions of inquiry. They are merely recommendations to the president. But I think what is important here is the terms of reference of the Madlanga Commission, which gives them the power to, as I said, to immediately refer specific cases or specific people for further investigation by the law enforcement agencies with a view to prosecution. That is something that can be done. It'll be done publicly so we know about it and can ensure that, in fact, the appropriate agencies do follow up on that. The difficulty, of course, is the fact that, given the wide-ranging allegations that were made by the KZN Police Commissioner, that implicates law enforcement agencies themselves as to who is now going to conduct those investigations that are going to be impartial and free of prejudice and ensure proper outcomes and with the upholding of the rule of law. Those are critical issues that are going to face the Commission in terms of identifying structures or units within agencies that can be trusted to carry out the further investigations that will be necessary.
Yeah. Lawson Naidoo, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it.